It's an ordinary Monday morning in the Strait of Malacca. Down below, over 200 commercial vessels squeeze through one of Earth's busiest maritime corridors. Massive oil tankers, naval patrol vessels, and large container ships, carrying hundreds of millions of dollars in electronics, are all operating right next to each other in close, synchronized harmony. Then, at exactly 8:17 a.m. local time, something unusual starts happening to multiple cargo ships at the exact same moment. We're conditioned to think that catastrophes begin with sirens, alarms, or physical explosions, but the most terrifying disasters often start in moments where everything appears perfectly normal. Up on the bridge of one of these cargo ships, the captain notices a discrepancy. Looking out the window, he can clearly see another vessel passing just a few hundred meters away, but according to his electronic charts and radar screens, that same ship is supposedly more than 2 miles away.
His vessel is experiencing GPS spoofing. If a signal is jammed, it's simply blocked. The navigation system goes dark, alarms sound, and the crew immediately knows they have a problem. Spoofing is entirely different. It quietly intercepts a clean signal and replaces it with carefully crafted false information. The crew doesn't lose their navigation capabilities. The screens still glow, the GPS signals report as strong, and the electronic charts look completely accurate. They are simply navigating using lies, quietly drifting miles off course, while the computers insist they are perfectly centered. By weaponizing the ship's own instruments against the crew, the attackers force a difficult choice: trust the computers or trust human eyes. Within minutes, captains across the strait begin dropping anchor and stopping their massive physical vessels out of pure confusion. As crews struggle to make sense of their false GPS readings, a second phase of the operation quietly activates. This time, it targets the Automatic Identification System, or AIS. Port authority screens are suddenly flooded with impossible data. Ghost ships appear out of thin air. Real vessels vanish completely from the digital map. You have heavy container ships reporting physical speeds that shouldn't be possible, and tankers traveling south that suddenly register as moving north. Traffic controllers are left completely blind as to which vessels are real. If they clear the wrong ship to enter a port, it risks a catastrophic physical collision. But if they freeze all traffic to sort it out, global commerce grinds to a halt. The attackers don't need to sink a single ship. In modern logistics, injecting pure confusion into the data stream is a far more potent and paralyzing weapon than outright physical destruction. Meanwhile, hundreds of miles away, the secondary target comes under attack: the port's own logistics network. Real-world cyberattacks rarely start with a dramatic flashing red screen. They are slow and silent. Months ago, an employee might have opened a seemingly normal email, or a piece of scheduling software was left unpatched, allowing attackers to quietly infiltrate the network and wait. Now, they activate that access. The dock's scheduling software crashes. The automated cranes you see here, towering over the harbor, instantly refuse all new commands. Without their data feeds, millions of tons of heavy industrial machinery become completely immobile. Then the cargo manifests are corrupted. Looking at this yard, there are thousands of shipping containers stacked in neat, endless rows. But as the customs databases go offline, their digital tracking data vanishes in an instant. They are instantly reduced to anonymous steel boxes. Nobody knows what is inside them, nobody knows where they are supposed to go, and without that information, the cargo cannot safely be moved an inch. Because the port is frozen, the ships arriving outside the harbor have nowhere to unload. Dozens of vessels are forced to drop anchor, then hundreds. The backlog expands out into the ocean, creating a massive, stationary fleet stretching all the way to the horizon. Packed inside these stranded ships are the physical components of everyday survival. You have entire holds filled with medical equipment, computer chips, food supplies, and essential energy resources, all entirely trapped on the water. Every hour of delay triggers a cascading economic failure, radiating outward from the port. Insurance companies begin calculating staggering daily losses. Manufacturers shut down assembly lines due to immediate part shortages, and oil markets swing wildly on the uncertainty. It's a massive, physical, real-world gridlock. Yet it was triggered entirely by something nobody could see: corrupted digital information. We operate under the assumption that maritime dominance is about steel engines and physical force. but modern ships actually sail on information. And when data becomes the battlefield, the physical ocean itself becomes entirely unpredictable.
Every single day, nearly 1/3 of all global trade funnels through a narrow stretch of water just 500 miles long. As we see in this aerial view of the Strait of Malacca, the density of traffic is immense. This single corridor connects the world's largest economies, carrying everything from crude oil and consumer electronics to critical military supplies. Imagine standing on the bridge of a 300,000-ton oil tanker in the center of this strait. The weather is calm and the sea is quiet. Every instrument appears to be functioning. Your GPS places you safely in the shipping lane, and the vessels appearing on your radar match exactly what you see through the windows. But the data on those screens is a lie. Modern maritime cyber warfare doesn't require a single missile or a boarding party. It works by silently hijacking the information a crew trusts, completely rewriting their reality from the inside out. For centuries, sailors relied on the stars and physical landmarks to find their way. Today, that human experience has been replaced by an absolute reliance on digital systems. The modern bridge operates as a closed loop of data. Because the crew cannot see the satellite signals or the radio waves themselves, they are entirely dependent on external feeds to interpret the world outside the ship's bulkheads. This creates a unique vulnerability. If an attacker can invisibly alter those incoming data feeds, the crew's ability to navigate safely disappears. In this connected era, a vessel's greatest risk is no longer a physical threat, but the silent manipulation of its digital trust. The first pillar of maritime reality is GPS, providing foundational geographic coordinates for a vessel's position. Electronic navigation charts then use that data to plot a safe course. Simultaneously, AIS broadcasts the ship's identity, speed, and destination to nearby vessels. On shore, port management systems rely on these same digital feeds to coordinate logistics. A container like this one is tracked and scheduled based entirely on the data transmitted by the ships. While these systems operate independently, they work together to create a single digital picture of the strait. If that picture is corrupted, the entire global logistical chain begins to break down. To understand the impact, let's simulate a coordinated attack as hundreds of ships converge on the narrowest part of the Malacca Chokepoint. The attack begins with GPS spoofing. The navigation system is fed false coordinates, creating a digital route diverging from the actual physical path. The captain believes the vessel is safe, while actually drifting towards shallow water hazards. The crisis escalates as AIS data is manipulated. Real ships vanish from the radar, and phantom vessels appear out of nowhere, forcing evasive maneuvers against non-existent threats. We reach a point of total data conflict. Two separate oil tankers appear to occupy the exact same coordinates, while cargo ships seem to be sailing across dry land. On the bridge, radar contradicts the charts, and charts contradict the window. Port controllers receive impossible data from dozens of ships at once. When captains can no longer distinguish truth from corruption, they lose the ability to navigate. In a waterway this congested, that level of uncertainty forces a halt to all traffic. This scenario is not speculative fiction. Maritime investigators have documented real-world cases of GPS spoofing and AIS manipulation being used to hide vessel locations or create false identities at sea. Major shipping lines and international ports have already faced cyberattacks that shut down their logistics and ground operations for days. The weapons for this crisis are already being used. All that is missing is a coordinated effort to deploy them at the same time in the same place. In this scenario, the immediate result is physical gridlock. Hundreds of ships drop anchor to avoid a collision, effectively closing the strait to all traffic. That local paralysis spreads instantly. Global supply chains, which operate on precise schedules, begin to freeze as the flow of goods stops at the choke point. Within days, manufacturing plants run out of parts, and the prices for fuel and critical consumer goods climb as the shortage ripples through the global market. This makes the Strait of Malacca more than just a shipping lane. It is a strategic digital battlefield where a single software vulnerability can disrupt the economies of entire nations. At sea, the nature of conflict has changed. It is no longer about sinking an enemy vessel.
It is about destroying the truth of its position, where the first shots are merely corrupted lines of data.
The Strait of Malacca serves as one of the most vital arteries of global trade. Yet today, the thousands of cargo ships that usually transit this narrow corridor have come to a complete standstill. No physical blockades are holding them back. There are no naval standoffs, no pirate boardings, and not a single weapon has been fired. The paralysis stems from a sudden, terrifying realization. The digital data telling these ships where they are and what surrounds them has been completely compromised. Controlling the world's oceans no longer requires physical dominance when the underlying navigational data can be manipulated at will. International shipping companies immediately begin rerouting vessels away from the strait, a move that adds weeks to delivery schedules and millions of dollars in fuel costs every single day. The impact reaches land within hours. Factories in the United States are forced to halt production as they wait for critical computer chips currently stuck at sea. Automobile manufacturers slow production lines to a crawl because essential components remain trapped in the logistics backlog. In cities across the globe, hospitals begin monitoring their medical supply inventories with increasing urgency, fearing shortages of life-saving equipment. Energy markets react violently, and financial sectors succumb to nervous speculation because no one can predict when normal digital trade will resume. This localized data glitch now dictates the physical survival of businesses and institutions across the planet. Modern cargo vessels rely heavily on interconnected software networks and digital communications to navigate the world's oceans safely. GPS spoofing feeds false satellite signals to a ship's bridge, redirecting the vessel's course without triggering alarms. Simultaneously, AIS manipulation falsifies a vessel's identity, creating ghost ships on radar or masking real movements. When these maritime tactics combine with cyberattacks on land-based port servers, terminal operators are left completely blind to movements in their own harbors. Because these systems are designed to trust each other implicitly, manipulating one piece of incoming data corrupts the integrity of the entire maritime ecosystem. As the crisis deepens, global cybersecurity teams begin the grueling process of analyzing network logs and satellite imagery to identify the attack source. Digital footprints are easily hidden or manipulated, and attackers often route operations through compromised systems in multiple countries to frame innocent organizations. This creates a paralyzing challenge for governments, who cannot justify a physical military response without definitive proof of responsibility. In the theater of cyber warfare, the inability to trace an attack's origin serves as the ultimate tactical advantage. To restore movement to the global economy, shipping companies are forced to implement a desperate workaround. They are abandoning their modern digital systems entirely. Crews have returned to the tools of the 20th century: paper navigation charts, manual position calculations, and simple radio communication. Officers now rely on visual confirmation between vessels and raw human judgment rather than the data displayed on a computer screen. The only way to save a hyper-modern, digitized economy is to regress to the analog methods of the past. While this specific scenario is built from various threats, GPS spoofing and port cyberattacks are already documented realities. This crisis serves as a reminder that technology should assist human decision-making rather than replacing it. The battlefield of the future exists inside the information that guides every ship crossing the world's oceans. The greatest threat is the data we have learned to trust without question. To stay informed on the evolving landscape of digital warfare, make sure to subscribe to The Global Breach.